This guy is a cat lover and he literally idolizes cats. So when a straight black cat wandered into his home, he gives it food and lets it sleep next to him. Now here's where the twist comes in. Next morning, he finds out that the cat can actually turn into a beautiful human girl. Yes, guys, he got himself an underaged catgirl waifu. Now, finding him kind and helpful, he allows herself to be kept by him and also decided to improve his lifestyle. Now, if you want to know what happened next, then watch the full video and don't forget to like and subscribe.
The story begins with the main character thinking about how great cats are. So fluffy, shiny, and cuddly, he doesn't care about human connections when cats are around. He imagines how healing it would be to snuggle with a cat every day, believing everyone must have dreamed of this. He wonders what it would be like if cats were human. The scene then shifts to a child trying to catch his cat, Mii-chan, for a cuddle and to smell his irresistible scent. It turns out the MC is dreaming of his childhood. When he opens his eyes, he finds a beautiful black-haired woman sleeping next to him. Startled, he falls out of bed, asks her who she is. The girl, caressing her eyes, babbles about them doing something, which leads to a misunderstanding, but she quickly clears it up before things get awkward. When the MC checks his clock, he sees it's 7:30 a.m. He rushes to get ready for work. Before leaving, he tells the girl they'll talk when he gets back. Perplexed, the girl thinks he's too careless leaving the house in such a situation. Working at a local supermarket, he gets a call from one of his employees, Suzuki, who says her son has a fever and she needs the day off. He tries to explain that she needs to give advance notice for situations like this, but Suzuki, arguing she can't predict when her son will get sick, asks if she's the bad guy here. The man tries to say he didn't mean to offend her, but Suzuki hangs up before he can finish. He sighs in disappointment, knowing that without her, it's going to be a difficult day. When the other workers find out, they share stories about seeing Suzuki spending the afternoon with her child the last time she took a day off. They also point out that her husband works from home, so she could at least come in for half a day. The two workers, calling him Natsuken, suggest giving her a proper warning because he can't always let it slide. He listens to their advice and decides to reduce Suzuki's number of shifts. The two workers respond positively to his decision. However, he suddenly changes his mind, which disappoints them. They call him spineless and unreliable, and even playfully tease him for not having a girlfriend. The assistant manager, a girl his age, tells him he should improve his appearance as his messy look is why the aunties disrespect him. He simply nods. After working until sunset, he finishes for the day and heads home. He complains about being tired from work and bothered by his employees' comments. The only thing on his mind is a cat. He wants to kiss one and make it look a little lost when he's all over it. He prefers to communicate with cats instead of humans. Yesterday was perfect, he smiles as his eyes catch a black cat gliding along the wall. Overwhelmed by its cuteness, his mood instantly brightens. He has many questions for the cat, wanting to know where it came from. The cat willingly lets him pet it. Afterwards, he gives it some milk, feeling guilty for doing so without the owner's permission. He suddenly remembers something and chants the name Mii-chan, his facial expression changing. The cat catches him off guard and slips past him into his flat. He starts to panic, remembering the rule about no pets being allowed and that the owner hates cats. Despite this, he can't resist stroking the cat's head. Before long, the cat falls asleep on the mat, making him wonder if it's a half-stray cat. Since he can't wake her up, he decides to leave her be. He moves her a little, creating space for himself, and then sleeps next to her. In the present, as he is about to leave for work, he thinks about how cute the cat was last night. He suddenly feels like he's forgetting something. This is when he remembers the girl from the morning. He quickly checks the house to see if she's there, even though he has a hunch she won't be. As he's thinking about her, he is surprised by the cat. He lifts her and caresses her against his cheeks, showing her some love. He's eager to spend time with the cat again, but fears it would be bad if the owner finds out. He unlocked the door to help her outside, but then a thought struck him. If he had simply opened the door, how had the cat managed to get in? He decided not to dwell on it and wished her farewell. Just as he was about to leave, the cat, with eyes brimming with tears, pleaded with him not to abandon her. It was cold and dark outside, and he worried she might be hit by a car. Furthermore, her presence in his home and her beauty increased the risk of her being abducted by a cat enthusiast. He tried to tell the cat not to bother the landlord, who lived on the second floor. The cat listened quietly, like a well-behaved child. He was still puzzled about the girl from earlier, even suspecting she might be a con artist. Even if he hadn't allowed her into the house, she might have slipped in while he was half asleep. He wanted to speak with her properly. He then shifted his focus back to his work, fully aware that he couldn't please everyone and that challenges lay ahead. Although he had informed the other part-time staff that he intended to reduce shifts for employees who frequently missed work, he was giving this particular worker a warning because she needed her job to support her family. Besides, it would be terrible if her child fell ill. He believed there had to be a valid reason for her actions, even if she had lied. While he was absorbed in thoughts about the worker, the black cat suddenly licked his face, even his lips. Startled, he thanked the cat, and her gesture brought back memories of when Mii-chan used to lick his face. Assuming she was hungry, he offered her some cooled-down nikom, a dish of rice and miso soup or dried bonito flakes. Despite giving her a generous bowl of nikom, he knew it wasn't ideal to give so much to someone else's cat. The cat began to devour the food, especially enjoying the bonito flakes, which he revealed he had acquired at a wedding some time ago. After their meal, they both went to bed. He was pleased to have a cat around him for 2 nights in a row. He suddenly remembered how soundly he had slept the last night. Typically, he woke up every 2 hours and wondered if the cat was the reason for his improved sleep. His gaze landed on a ribbon around the cat's neck, and before he could recall where he'd seen it, he drifted off to sleep.
In the morning, he awoke to a pleasant warmth. When he looked up, he saw the same girl from before, wearing the identical ribbon that the cat had worn. He realized he was resting on her lap, which explained the soft sensation. The girl informed him it was already afternoon, causing him to exclaim in surprise. He began to ask if she was the same girl from yesterday, but before he could finish, she interrupted, telling him she had borrowed his clothes. She assured him not to be scared and that she wasn't a thief or fraudster. She revealed she wanted to express her gratitude for the delicious nekama. She playfully persuaded him to share his name, Natsu Iori, which she found charming. She then frankly told him she had developed a liking for him. With a smirk, she moved closer and declared that she would let him keep her. Iori was left speechless by this turn of events. Confused, he asked her what she was talking about. Just as he posed the question, her stomach rumbled loudly. She told him to wait a moment. In the next instant, she suddenly demanded French toast, which left him feeling uneasy. Although he was reluctant, she insisted he cook for her, stating that no one else would do it but him. She clarified that she meant French toast, made with a baguette, not regular bread. However, Iori preferred eating out to buying ingredients and cooking. Then she mentioned she couldn't go outside. If she did, she would be chased away. The moment he understood, his expression changed. She looked at him and expressed her thanks. Sometime later, as he was returning with the ingredients, he pondered why he was running errands for a random girl living in his house. From his perspective, she possessed a strong sense of self-worth. Yet, despite that, there was something undeniably captivating about her. As he passed by a bakery, he realized it had been a while since his last visit. Looking at his reflection in the glass, he noticed that his dark circles were gone. The absence of dark circles proved that he had finally gotten some good sleep over the past 2 days. Due to the intense work stress combined with the absence of Mii-chan's comforting presence, he had been struggling with prolonged sleeplessness. He realized he had been exuding a peculiar aura ever since he had paused outside the bakery window. Even the workers inside seemed scared of him. He quickly walks inside, buys a loaf of long, thin bread, and then leaves. Back home, he prepares French toast for the girl along with salad and soup. He asks for her opinion because it took him a lot of effort to make. As expected, she praises him for his cooking. He lets him know that he likes cooking to begin with and has been good at it since he was a child. He mentions that he tends to buy too much during grocery trips, and also, since she looked hungry, he ended up making a large meal for her. She starts playing with his hair while telling him that his protective instincts are starting. She is thankful to him for the meal. As she prepares to eat her food with great enthusiasm, Iori notices the red ribbon around her neck. He has a vague memory of seeing it somewhere before, and soon he realizes it's just like the one the black cat wore. Realization hits him and he immediately asks how she knows about Nico Mama. He then brings up how she suddenly appeared in his house 2 days ago, and finally asks who she really is. She calmly reveals that she's the same black cat that entered his home 2 days ago, leaving him shocked. She adds that she's surprised he hasn't heard of the catgirl story, a girl who lives as a human by day and turns into a cat at night. When he asks if that could be real, she admits it sounds like a common urban legend, but insists it's true. There aren't many like her, she explains. Since they become cats at night, they have to avoid being seen. When the sun rises, they return to human form. She explains that when turned into a cat, she wasn't wearing any clothes. That's why she was naked the next morning. That's the only reason why she couldn't leave Yori's house the day before. She's happy that he has the day off today. He thinks he's being tricked, but then assumes that maybe there was something else she couldn't tell others. The girl offers him a bite using the same spoon she was eating with, which leaves him feeling embarrassed and confused. After sharing a bite with him, she tells him to have some food too, and then hands him his fork. He tells her that apart from her catgirl story, he doesn't think she can stay here. When she asks why, he tells her that she is staying in a single guy's house, which is dangerous at a whole other level. There may be times when he can't come home, and taking that into account, it would be better if she stayed at a woman's house. She smirks after hearing his reason and soon bursts out laughing while calling him a nice guy. She further mentions the usual reasons, which would be things like limited sleeping space, high living expenses, or how unsettling it is to watch a cat transform into a girl. He mumbles that he's not disgusted by her at all. She smiles and says she wants to stay with him, that she's a good girl and they already eat and sleep together. Casually, she mentions her goal to improve his quality of life. He blushes as she leans in, his heart beating fast like a ticking clock. Brushing the hair from his eyes, she says it's only right to start by giving him a haircut. Sometime later, she is cutting Yori's messy hair, which she is sure must have been bothering him. He apologizes for his messy hair and wonders why it became this way. He remembers that Taguchi also said the same about his appearance and asks her if she's genuinely planning to cut his hair. She asks him not to worry, but what's making him uneasy is how close she's standing. Then she drops a bombshell, revealing that she's never actually cut anyone's hair before, leaving him dismayed for a short while. After the mess she makes of his hair, he ends up going to a real barber to get his hair done. After getting a fresh trim, he goes to the supermarket. At the supermarket, he bumps into Taguchi. She is surprised to see him as well, because it was supposed to be his day off. He informs her that Shima, the blonde, middle-aged employee who called him cowardly before, contacted him about Suzuki taking a sudden day off. Taguchi is amazed at the fact that Suzuki just does anything she wants. She has already taken an unannounced day off. When she questions if he has come here to fill in, he informs her that he doesn't have a plan, so she could just leave it to him. Tibuchi tells him that he can go home, and she assures him that she will handle the work herself. He doesn't think it's fair, especially since she's off work too. She insists she will fill in for Suzuki. He asks her why she is so keen on doing that.
She blurts out the comment randomly. All she thinks is that he looks a bit better, and that's the extent of it. Her words catch him off guard, leaving him flustered. Another coworker compliments his hair. When he gets home, the catgirl greets him. Seeing her lounging so comfortably on the sofa makes him uneasy. She says getting a haircut was a smart move, even though she had already cut a big section of his hair. Still, he went to a salon anyway. He gives her a look and reminds her that she was the one who messed it up initially. After a quick once-over, she observes that he looks better than yesterday. Maybe it's because he finally ate a proper meal and got some real sleep. The carbs energized him, and the sweets helped him unwind. He wonders aloud if the French toast was secretly for him, but with a nonchalant shrug, she insists it was all for her. She just wanted a single piece. Her unapologetic response annoys him. He begins to complain about her arrogance and disrespect, then suddenly stops. It dawns on him she truly is just like a cat. After a brief pause, he looks at her and asks for her name. She climbs onto him, leans in close, and softly whispers, Mii-chan. He's taken aback, captivated by her delicate face, when she suddenly transforms into a cat right before his eyes. It's not the timing he expected, but he doesn't flinch. Unfazed, he watches as she pounces on him and begins licking his face with surprising intensity. Without thinking, he wraps his arms around her small, warm body. He's always had a soft spot for black cats, and this one is no different. Yori is completely engrossed as Mii-chan playfully bites at his fingers. He smirks, half laughing, half groaning in pain, then casually offers her his other hand to balance it out. Telling her his hand isn't a toy does nothing. She's relentless. It's been ages since he's been scratched or bitten, but despite the stings, he feels strangely content. After a lively evening of play, they both go to bed. The next morning, something soft keeps tapping his cheek.
Sleepy and annoyed, he throws his arm up in protest, only to freeze when he sees Mii-chan leaning over him. She greets him with a cheerful smile. Shocked, he tumbles out of bed, blurting out that she should at least put some clothes on. Glancing at the clock, he sees it's only 6:30 a.m. He's woken earlier than usual. When asked why she had to wake him up, she simply mentions being hungry. He grumbles that he usually gets up at 7 and skips breakfast entirely. She shrugs, still insisting her stomach is empty. Frustrated, he points toward the fridge, saying, "There's bread." Then he buries himself back under the blanket. Unimpressed, she leaps onto him in human form and starts biting again, this time out of protest, demanding a proper meal. Later, while serving her food, Iori brings up the biting. She explains she had no choice, he wouldn't wake up. Between bites, she asks if he even realizes that she stays awake all night, roaming around until sunrise. That's why she's always ravenous in the morning. He hadn't known. In fact, he planned to sleep in until 10. She asks whether waking up early wasn't a good thing. After all, he's now eating breakfast, something healthy for a change. Then she happily digs into her food. From Yori's viewpoint, Mii-chan is a self-centered girl who moves entirely at her own pace. A human by day, a cat by night. She's the epitome of a catgirl. He never agreed to let a human live with him. Sure, Mii-chan the cat was different, but here she is, the same being in a human body. She overhears him muttering and reminds him that cat and girl are one and the same. Noticing his different attitude toward her human form, she teases him about it. Not long ago, he was thrilled playing with her, even when she scratched and bit him. He explains that cats are cute no matter what they do. That's just how it is. With a playful pout, she insists her human side is cute too. But Yori stubbornly claims the cat version is cuter. Amused, she teases him even more. The topic shifts when he asks about her ribbon, wondering if she has an owner. She points out that the ribbon isn't a pet accessory. It's for protection, meant to keep her out of shelters. Before he can press further, the doorbell rings. At the door, he finds a package addressed to him, but with no sender's name. Mii-chan appears behind him, already assuming it's hers, and starts unpacking without hesitation. He questions why she sent the package to his place. Brushing it off, she tells him not to worry about the specifics, and jokingly offers him her underwear. They both share a laugh, but Yori's expression turns serious. He reminds her that she's only staying temporarily. Once she finds a place to go, she has to leave. She gives an absent-minded okay, barely acknowledging his words. Then, the doorbell rings again.
This time, it's the landlord. Caught off guard, Yori fumbles through his greeting. The landlord, without much ceremony, asks him to walk his dog Tetsuo as a favor. Yori, the cat lover, instinctively pats the dog and notes how long it's been. Apparently, the landlord's back has been bothering him again since yesterday. He asks Yori to take Tetsuo to Third Park, which is quite far, and while he's at it, he might as well deliver a notice to Takahashi and water the plants afterward. Peeking out from behind the door, Mii-chan comments that he's getting taken advantage of. Before leaving, the landlord recalls hearing a cat sound the day before yesterday. He asks if it came from Yori's place. Yori panics, but manages to say it must have been a stray. Once the landlord leaves Tetsuo in his care, Yori tells the dog to wait while he grabs his jacket. Just as he turns back, Mii-chan steps out, clearly intending to join them. When he reminds her about not going out in daylight, she argues that it's still early, so it's fine. She tosses his jacket at his face and tells him to hurry up. While walking, Mii-chan talks about how easily he accepted all the chores, wondering if this happens often. He explains that it's not a regular thing, but ever since he walked Tetsuo once, the landlord's back has coincidentally been hurting. Noticing her intense stare, he pleads with her not to look at him like that. People already call him a pushover. She guesses that back in school, he was probably the guy always asked to share notes or do the unpopular jobs. He groans in response, basically confirming it. His old nickname, Eternal Errand Boy, he claims is simply because he does what people ask. But Mii-chan challenges that thinking. To her, being asked doesn't mean you have to say yes. Refusing or making excuses is valid too. He insists he's not special. He just does what others can do. But for once, Mii-chan turns serious. She stops, looks him in the eyes, and says she doesn't want just anyone to take care of her. She wants him. To her, being chosen by her is something special. He should have more confidence in himself.
Embarrassed by the unexpected praise, he looks away. After watering the plants, they return to the building. The landlord happily greets his dog, but offers Yori no thanks. Before Yori can let it go, Mii-chan steps in on his behalf, calling out the landlord for being rude. When she repeats herself, the landlord finally catches on and thanks Yori properly. As their eyes meet, Mii-chan flashes a bright smile. Curious, the landlord asks who the girl is. Yori fumbles again, calling her a visiting relative. The old man looks skeptical, but doesn't push it. Back inside, Mii-chan immediately jumps onto the bed. She announces she's going to sleep while Yori has to leave for work. Before stepping out, he tells her to be useful if she's staying another night. Maybe hang the futon or cook dinner. Her silence speaks volumes. She has no intention of doing any of it. Still, Yori can't help thinking, cats are cute when they act shamelessly, but humans, not so much. That evening, he returns home and is greeted by Mii-chan in her cat form. He launches straight into cat lover mode, trying to hug her, but she slips past him and leads him to the kitchen counter. There, he finds a sticky note. Human Mii-chan wrote it, "Proud of you for keeping the kitchen clean." She flicks her tail, showing she means it. Next to it, another note praises his cooking and wonders what's for breakfast tomorrow. On the living room table, there's a third note. "I like how kind-hearted you are." His face flushes red. As if to prove the point, Mii-chan rubs herself against him affectionately. Blushing, he finally admits, maybe the human side of her isn't so bad after all.